Zaleski. This is the Zaleski Sports Show. I'm your host, and today we have Jason Zaleski, our sports expert, and Adam Sievert, also a sports expert today. We are going to be covering nationally. We're going to be talking about a wrap-up of the NFL draft. Also, regionally, we'll talk a little bit about the Brewers and the Bucks. And then locally, we will discuss baseball, softball, and tennis of our local high schools. So go ahead, Jason. Tell me a little bit about those the NFL draft now that it's over. I'm super excited. Yay!
You're excited because it's over?
I am excited because it's over. It was on every TV all day long, every single day this past weekend.
Well, that's the whole idea.
So tell me, what were your thoughts? Were you excited about the picks that were chosen?
Oh, you know what? For me, the NFL draft is always an exciting time. I rate it as number 3 on the NFL calendar of events. Number 1 is Super Bowl. Number 2 is opening weekend. And number 3 is the NFL draft. And the NFL draft, I know when it starts, the slate has been wiped clean. We're all born anew, and we get new players. And that's always fun, too. And, it was fun to watch during the weekend, as it is every year. Seeing these players, they get drafted, all the emotions that go with that, all the excitement. I know we're going to talk a little bit about a Wisconsin Rapids individual that was drafted by the Packers. We'll talk a little bit about that. But just, it's so much fun watching these guys fulfill their dreams. We saw Juju Smith from USC run into the ocean and take a swim after he was drafted, and just all kinds of things in between that. So it's a lot of fun. So some specifics about the draft this year. Adam and I talked about this last week, the number of trades, and we've seen the number of trades increasing because really the constraints about making trades have been really erased over the past few years, including this year was the first time that compensatory picks were allowed to be traded. Usually comp picks, and those are given when you lose a free agent, and they're given the next year to kind of help those teams replace those players that they lost. So this year was the first year that those picks could be traded as well. And so what we saw was a new record in the NFL this year for trades. 38 trades made during the NFL draft that beat the old record of 34. I would expect next year probably be a new record. And we saw the first trade at spot number 2 in the draft. So right off the bat, the Bears, who had just signed Mike Glennon and are going to give him $15 million a year, decided, well, that's maybe not good enough. We need to trade and get Mitchell Trubisky, quarterback. So we'll see how they fit both quarterbacks on the team. But that'll be for this fall that we'll talk about that. So really from top to bottom, we saw the Browns take Myles Garrett, and that was expected. Then I mentioned Trubisky to the Bears at number 2. 49ers took Solomon Thomas. Jacksonville Jaguars, as we talked about last week, did select Leonard Fournette. And then the Tennessee Titans, Corey Davis from Western Michigan. Certainly he was projected by many to go in the first round, but to see him go number 5 overall, perhaps a little surprising. The Titans did have 2 first-round picks, so sometimes when you have multiple first-round picks, maybe you take a flyer on one guy, or maybe you reach a little bit just to make sure that you get that one you want. And then you've got that more solid pick coming up later on in the draft. Not sure, but we'll see how Corey Davis works out. And then the Cleveland Browns, by the time it was all said and done, had 3 first-round picks by the time they were done wheeling and dealing. And then late in the draft, so last week during the show, Adam and I talked about Wisconsin Badger hopefuls T.J. Watt and Ryan Ramczyk from Stevens Point. And we got all the way down to pick number 29. I actually texted Adam and I said, both those guys are in danger of not being picked in the first round. Big trouble here. Well, wouldn't you know it, number 30, T.J. Watt to the Steelers, and then number 32, the last pick in the first round, Ramczyk goes off the board. Stevens Point grad goes over to the Saints. So it was a lot of fun. And I mentioned trades and such, and what we saw was at number 29, the Browns got their 3rd first-round pick due to a trade with the Packers. Adam, did you see that coming?
Well, we said that we didn't know what Ted was going to do once again, and it's true. He did it again. He traded out of the first-round draft pick. All of my friends, my phone blew up. It's like, what is Ted doing again? Yeah. But it was actually a great move. A lot of people thought he was going to take T.J. Watt in the first round. A lot of people in Wisconsin wanted him to play for Wisconsin. And we traded to the number 1 second-round pick. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people thought that pick was going to get traded also and move back a couple spots. But they really had their eyes on Kevin King and another cornerback that I mentioned last week from Washington. But Sidney, he was hurt during his pro day. So his draft stock fell a little bit and Kevin King's went up. So they did snag him right away. Also with T.J. Watt, a couple other teams were surprised that the fans were surprised that they didn't take him, and one was the Dallas Cowboys. The fans were pretty upset, but T.J. found a good home in St. Louis, where defense is very highly rated.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, right. It went to the Steelers.
What did I say?
Yeah, St. Louis.
Oh, I meant Steelers.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, gotcha. And then you mentioned Packers maybe could have then traded that number 33 overall, that first pick in the second round, because they had all night and then pretty much all the next day to talk to teams. And there certainly was a lot of chatter about that. But as it turned out, the Packers took Kevin King, a cornerback out of Washington. And then as the draft went on here, Packers got back on the board at 61 overall with Josh Jones, safety out of North Carolina State. So really bolstering the secondary at Green Bay.
Yeah, with losing Micah Hyde, like I talked about, also to the Bills, they really feel like Josh Jones was the best player on the board to fill that role. In case you got to fill in that slot, be at a free safety type position also. Various guys who are very quick also.
Right. Right, and then not to leave the Vikings out, Rachel, but the Vikings finally got on the board at number 70. Now, they did spend a first-round pick in this draft. They spent it last year on Sam Bradford. We heard earlier yesterday that the Vikings were not going to pick up the fifth year on Teddy Bridgewater. So it looks like Bradford is the guy this year for sure. And then they spent their first pick in the draft on Pat Elflein, a center from Ohio State. So their Viking offensive line hasn't been that good, and so probably no surprise to either of you that they look to the offensive line with their first pick.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for what the Vikings can do this season. I am really kind of sad that Teddy's not going to be with the team.
Probably.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And it's probably best for his own safety, but at the same time, yeah, I think Bradford's going to do well and just keep trying, chugging forward.
Well, the only team to challenge the Packers over the last dozen years has been the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, they've at least made it to the playoffs.
With one division championship, and then seems like a number of times had always challenged the Packers through the season, maybe even came down to last week or two. So, all right, and then 93rd overall, Packers took Montravius Adams, defensive tackle out of Auburn, so staying on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they really had to build up their defense, like I said last week, and the experts are really picking him to play like B.J. Raji, quick feet, good hands. They might move the Kenny Clark into the nose position and have him on the other side. So a lot of people are really expecting him to play and start right away out in the 2017 season.
Sure, okay. And then number 108 overall, Vince Beagle. So we mentioned Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln standout and Wisconsin Badgers standout too. Vince Beagle, and he stays in Wisconsin goes at number 108 overall to Green Bay.
Yeah, he was very impressive his senior year. I mean, T.J. Watt really helped him out also. When you guys got like that crash in the corners like you're going to have this year with T.J. Watt and maybe Clay Matthews on that side, or Nick Perry whenever they do the substitutions, they're going to really create havoc on the opposing quarterback. So it's going to be really fun to watch T.J. play in his backyard.
Sure. Okay, and then really
Vince,
Vince, right. And then, as we saw on the rest of Saturday, Packers started loading up on running backs, and I kind of wondered what was going on. Well, things became a little bit clearer yesterday when the Packers announced the release of Kristen Michael, who was signed in the early part of last year, right? Maybe the mid-third, or after Lacey first had that ankle injury, I think they went to look and found Michael. So Michael's out, and a bunch of new guys are in at running back.
Yeah, they got three guys, and they actually released Don Jackson also at running back. He was kind of injury prone as well, so they made room for these other three running backs to step up. One's a little bit bigger guy like Lacey was. The other guy's a little bit quicker like Sproles is. I think he plays with the Eagles right now, but they got some fantastic options in that running back position now.
Yeah. Okay. So overall, Adam, as you watch the draft and with the Packers, how do you feel with these guys going into rookie camp and starting the year with the team? Things looking in a positive way, do you think?
Yeah, I really thought that the Packers drafted very well. I almost want to give them an A. A lot of the experts gave them a B+, so we're right there on the same page. They filled all the spots they needed to. They actually went a little bit deeper on the offense than I thought they were going to with the running back. And they also, here's a note for you, they signed 14 undrafted free agents. 4 offensive linemen, 3 cornerbacks, 2 linebackers, 2 wide receivers, and 1 defensive tackle.
Yeah. Wow.
So they really beefed up. They also signed a unrestricted punter to give our punter,
okay.
Shum, a little competition in the
Okay,
matter.
okay.
That always helped. Worked with kickers back
Sure.
in the past.
Yep.
And they also did sign BYU quarterback Hill.
Okay.
Because there are some talks that some teams are looking at Henley or their backup quarterback, so might be
Okay.
some trade bait there. So.
Yeah, could be. So Packers maybe not quite settled yet. Most teams won't be settled until maybe even the end of August. But coming in, they've got enough players, it looks like, to make their training camp roster, roster of 90 players for camp, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to it. Like I said, this is the NFL draft as it concludes now, is the birth of that new season. And if anybody watched the entire draft like I did, they saw on Friday night during the draft, the teams, some of the teams sent representatives to pick. Mm-hmm. And I warned Philadelphia about keeping it real. And I don't know if Philadelphia listened to me, but Philadelphia, you certainly got it stuck to you on Friday night. Yes. When Dallas Cowboys were on the clock, and Dallas Cowboy great Ring of Honor member Drew Pearson got up and explained to the Eagles just how bad they are. It's a lot of fun to watch.
My mouth dropped.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch, Rachel. I know you had some fun, and we're happy Adam could join us.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam, for being a part of our show.
Yes, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
All right, well, we'll have you back again after football starts. If you'll come back, we'd love to have you.
Sounds great.
All right, Adam. Take it easy.
Thank you so much. Take care. So moving on, we were also wanting to discuss a little bit more about the Brewers and the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks. They are out, so I don't really know where I want to start. Let's just start with the Bucks because their season is now over. Their last 3 games against the Raptors, and this very last game was Thursday. They lost 92-89, and now their season is over. What a great effort, though, that they gave. And go ahead, Jason, tell me your thoughts on the Bucks.
Well, it's the NBA. What can I say?
Yeah.
I guess in a way, I'm glad that they're done. We're done talking about the NBA now, and we can move on to the other regular sports that everybody likes a whole lot better than the NBA. No, yeah, Giannis and the rest of the young Bucks literally they had a nice year. Perhaps they can make it back to the playoffs next year and get a little further. I thought they were in a good spot. It looked like they had the Raptors on the ropes for a while, and then they let it slip right through their fingers. So nice season, Bucks. NBA, we'll catch up with you sometime in the next couple months.
Wonderful. And so moving on to baseball.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know about anybody else out there, but in the shirt that Jason's wearing right now, it looks as though his bicep muscle is like just so well defined here. Just something I made an observation of. But so baseball players have to be really tough, and they have to be going after those balls and a lot of upper body strength and lower body strength. So the Brewers really pulled out a great win last night, Jason. Tell me.
Oh, yeah.
It was the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, right, against the Cardinals. Well, I tuned in middle of the game to find the Brewers ahead. I remember at 4-1. And they were cruising along up until late in the game. Cardinals made a comeback to tie the game at 4-4, sent the game to extra innings, and then top of the 10th, Travis Shaw decided that's enough of this. Crushed a 3-run home run deep into right field, and the Brewers cruised to victory from there, 7-5. So, Ding Dong City's at it again, and they took the show on the road down to St. Louis and showed the Cardinals how to ding dong, and off they went. Eric Thames, another nice game, had a nice RBI double in what I remember to be about the 6th inning. So the Brewers are clicking right along, and they won that game, Rachel, last night without Ryan Braun. So it goes to show they have a little bit of versatility, a little bit of flexibility when players need a break, or if somebody's hurt and need to have their name replaced in the lineup, and that's what happened last night. So as we look now, we finished the month of April, so the first month of the Major League Baseball season is in the books. And as we look through here, it looks like the Nationals and the Orioles lead the major leagues in record, with the Brewers almost a virtual tie with the Cubs for first place. Cubs are 13-12, Brewers are 14-13, so they're even in the standings. The Brewers just have played more than the Cubs. We'll see what happens, but they're 14 wins into the 69 that I predicted, so they're well on their way.
Good, that's wonderful, because I know that Like what you said earlier about Braun, it's just nice to be able to have those backup players and still have a strategy to try to win those games without always making your big players play a lot.
Right.
So I can't wait to watch more games with you.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
So last week we talked a little bit, no, I don't even think it was last week. A couple weeks ago we had discussed a little bit more about how the National Hockey League is in their playoff season. So very exciting because I had mentioned that I played, but I didn't really play. I was just a cheerleader. So there's a lot of plays that I got to see. One of them is something called the power play. So in Sports 101, go ahead, Jason, explain a little bit more about the basic power play for hockey.
Yeah, all right. Well, as we talk about the power play, we had Stanley Cup action going on behind us from last night. The Capitals found themselves in a 2-0 hole, 2-0 hole coming into the game, and needed a win. They were on the ropes against the Penguins and found themselves in a power play situation in overtime, and that ultimately led to them winning the game to take advantage of that power play. So you said, what's a power play? Yeah. So a power play in hockey is when one team has committed a penalty against somebody else, and that player is actually taken off the ice. So they're down from 5 players to 4, and that creates an advantage then for the offense. And so the power play is a 5-on-4 opportunity, to speak basically. We can go on and talk about it from there next time. But what we're talking about here is that 5-on-4. So as we look at the action here, we've got 4 Penguins here, and then the rest of the Capitals on the ice. So that's one less guy to help on defense and to cover that whole expanse of the ice. And as we push play from here with that one less guy, they've got to move side to side faster. Not enough time to react. Biscuits in the basket, and the game's over. So that's a power play.
Shake and bake.
Right?
Right. So thank you for explaining that. So next time I'll be looking for that when we're watching hockey. So moving on to local sports, our beautiful high school teams are well underway in their spring season for the games that they've been able to play, given the weather that we've been having. So I gotta say this right off the top, the Marshfield girls, Tigers softball are on fire. They've won 5 straight wins in a row. So good job, girls. They played against Wausau West last Monday, and they beat the Warriors 5-3. They play again tonight in Stevens Point, and that starts at 4:30. So good job, girls. Keep up that momentum. The boys varsity baseball team for Marshfield Tigers won against the Wisconsin Rapids Raiders 7-2 last Thursday. Yeah, say that 10 times fast. Yeah, right. So good job on that win, 7-2, good victory. They play again tonight in Merrill at 5 p.m. And then the boys tennis, varsity boys tennis, they also are on a nice, beautiful winning streak. So good job, guys. Not only did they beat Stevens Point 6-1 last Monday, but they also came in first in their invitational this past Saturday in Appleton. They took first place with 32 points. Kimberly came in second with 24 points, and Appleton North came in third with 22 points. So the boys play again on Thursday at home against Wisconsin Rapids Warriors. Raiders. Oh, I put it down wrong. I'm sorry. And that starts at 4 p.m. So then moving on to the Marshfield Columbus Dons, boys varsity baseball. They won against Gilman last Tuesday, 8-4. So good job, guys. They play again tonight at home against Owen Withy, and that starts at 4 p.m. And then the Marshfield girls softball Columbus Dons aren't doing as well. So they
room to improve.
Room to improve. Yeah. A little bit of a challenge
to
overcome.
Will.
I agree. However, they lost against Gilman last Tuesday, 24-1. The girls play again Thursday at Loyal with a doubleheader starting at 4 p.m.
Well, you know what they say in Gilman? The Pirates will pirate.
Oh. What else do they say in Gilman?
That's about it.
Don't they have like some cheese that you like a lot?
I don't know.
That powdery cheese? No. I don't know. Nonetheless, so other things to look forward to this weekend if sports is not your thing, which is most times that can be the case for a lot of people. This weekend, May 6th and 7th, will be the 44th annual GEM Mineral, Fossil, and Jewelry Show being hosted by the Marshfield High School here in Marshfield. That starts at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and then 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Also, going on in the month of May, the Marshfield Career Closet. They are accepting donations for clothing, professional and business attire. So for the entire month of May, you can stop down over by the Marshfield Area United Way office as well as the Mackey office. They have collection bins for clothing to help a great cause. So make sure you go through all your spring cleaning and dig out all your beautiful clothes that you don't wear anymore or don't fit and send them over to those 2 locations.
Yeah, it certainly can mean the difference between somebody seeking a job and somebody seeking a job confidently. So, please help out. Everybody's got something to give, and you can help that person get that job. Rachel, you're talking about the gems, and I always think, how can things relate to sports? And instantly I thought, let's go pick up some gems and we can make some championship rings.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go do. Oh, you're so funny.
All right.
So thank you so much for watching. You've been watching the Zaleski Sports Show. I'm Rachel Zaleski, your host. And we also have been seeing Jason Zaleski, our sports expert. We thanked Adam Sievert for coming, for being our Packers expert. And feel free to go ahead and send us any questions, comments, or ideas, show ideas, or sports that you would like us to talk about that your children have been in. You can give us an email at zaleskisportshow@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook. We have a page called Zaleski Sports Show that you can click like and watch us. So thank you all. Have a wonderful week. Take care.
Yeah, at Go Sports and Rachel, this weekend you can go do something too and check out the gun show.
Ooh, pow pow.